guys, welcome to Fitness with Diva. Today it's all about the basics, the fundamentals, and everything that you need to get started on your indoor cycling journey. Let's start with the setting of your bike and your seat. Your seat moves up and down, and you want to try and keep it aligned with your hip. Your seat also moves front and back, and you want to leave the distance of a forearm between the tip of your seat and your handlebar. Your handlebar moves also up and down. You can adjust it according to your needs and how you like riding your form and your alignment. Some people like to ride it low, right here hovering, and some people like to ride it high. It's entirely up to you. We try to usually keep it between the ribs and the waist level. Now, this being said, let's get on the bike. So the very first rule about indoor cycling in indoor cycling is that we are riding to the beat of the music. So if you have a monitor, it's going to indicate a few things. First of all, the time that you're riding, your heart rate, how many kilometers you're riding, but also the RPM. The RPM or the cadence defines the speed, the pace at which you're riding. For the purpose of this video, I chose songs at a 75 RPM, 75 cadence that we call a slow jog. So we are riding usually on our right leg, but if you feel more comfortable on the left side, it's entirely up to you. But you try to find the downbeat on that one leg. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is an infallible rule in indoor cycling, which is the difference between the old school spinning and the new school indoor cycling. They were all about resistance, but they were not necessarily choosing songs that match the speed at which they were riding to that. The next thing that we want to be talking about is the resistance. The resistance is going to define the intensity at which you're riding. You have a flywheel right here in the front of your bike or in the back of your bike. It depends the bike. They're all set very differently. But the more you add resistance to your wheels, the more inclined, the steeper the road that you're riding on is. And when you reduce your resistance, it becomes flatter. To add your resistance, you need that knob right here in front of your knees. The more you turn it to the right, the more you're adding your resistance, and when you turn it to the left, you're releasing your resistance. We have 5 basic levels of resistance. When it's at 0, it's usually a flat, and you're usually not really much in control of your wheels. I find it dangerous. I don't like to ride there, so I like to add 1 or 2 turns, and it takes me to what I call it a light, like I feel a little pull. I'm in control of my wheels. So you have light, you want to add a little bit more, and you're going to find your light to medium. After light to medium, you want to add a little bit more, you have your medium. You add a little bit more, you have your medium to heavy, and the last stage of resistance, it's when you have heavy. So what do we do with all of these resistance and all these levels of intensity? That's a purpose for another video. We're gonna do that later. Let's keep it to the very, very basics. After the setting of your bike, after the RPM, after the resistance, it's also the positioning on your bike. You can be riding on the saddle or you can be riding off the saddle. We have different positions. Right here, when your hands are in the center of your handlebar, we call it a first position. When your hands are on the lower side of your handlebar, we call it a second position. And our third position is usually when we are off the saddle right here on the lower side of your handlebar. Some bikes even have a kind of hook here, which gives you a hovering position, and they call it fourth. Some people call the middle one fourth. Each bike, each instructor, each school, each studio, it's slightly different, and you will adapt very easily to the lingo of your instructor and the studio where you're taking your classes, or if you're taking them with me right here, you'll get used to it very quick. So what do we do in those positions? Another very important rule of indoor cycling is that we move to the beat of the music, not only riding, but we're implementing upper body movements. And here are the very basic ones. With your hands in position number 1, you can be crunching when your elbows squeeze in. Now this is a slow crunch. You can go with the beat of the music. Yeah, that's your crunch right here. You can have a dip, tricep dips, elbows coming back. Right here, you can pulse it down. Always to the beat of the music. What else can we do? We can also, usually in position number 3, we can also push, like a push-up when your elbows are coming out. Nice and slow. And you can pulse it down. You also have what we call obliques, when you target your waist here. Now you can really play with that, and we're going to do with all these movements. These are the basic movements, and later on in the rides that you take on my channel, we're going to play with different paces, with single, doubles. There is another movement also. It's called a tap back. Right here, where you send your hips back and back to neutral. You send your hips back and back up. It's kind of like a hovering position, but you go back and forth with it. That's pretty much everything that you need to know about indoor cycling and to get yourself started. Now, this is the first video on my channel. I really wanted to do this one to explain you how it works, what is indoor cycling, and I'm progressively going to take you to an advanced level. What we're going to do, we're going to start with RPMs. I'm first going to do a climb ride, which means that we're going to be riding very heavy, but at 60 to 65 cadence. Then we're going to do a slow jog ride, which is 70 to 80 RPM. Then we're going to be doing a fast jog ride, which is 80 to 95 RPM. And then 95 to 105 RPM, it's a flat. And then 120 to 128, it's a sprint. So I'm going to be dedicating rides specific for each range of RPM, of cadence, and with that we're going to play with the resistance. Slowly I'm going to start showing you upper body movements, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to get started on this indoor cycling journey with me, and enjoy the rest of my channel, guys. Bye bye.